Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is September 1st. We have made it to the last month and Chapman is dealing. Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? It is September. We have made it. We have gone through the ending of March. We've gone through April and May and June and July and now August. And now we sit 1 month away from the postseason. We sit 1 month left of regular season baseball. It's all to play for. Still, so much can happen this month. So let's dive into our series recap. Best in the AL, best in the AL. Brewers and Blue Jays. Andrew Monasterio, his fourth homer of the year, starts a 5-run sixth for the Brew Crew, leading them to a 7-2 victory. Tied up in the ninth, Jackson Chourio and Christian Yelich hit back-to-back home runs to take the lead and add an insurance. The Brewers take a 4-1 victory there. And on the last day, the Jays take advantage of a few Brewers' mistakes to have 2 3-run innings, leading the Blue Jays to an 8-4 win to salvage the series, avoid the sweep. Brewers take 2 from Toronto. Pirates and Red Sox. Pirates scored 4 unanswered to get a comeback win, 4-2 the final there. O'Neal Cruz hitting his 19th homer of the season, starts a 5-run 6th inning, helping the Pirates to a 10-3 victory. And in the last game, Jarren Duran, a 3-run go-ahead inside the park home run. How about that? 5-2 Boston. They avoid the sweep to the Pirates. Yankees and White Sox, a 4-game series. Bellinger, Jazz, and Grisham all homer. Miguel Vargas had a grand slam for the White Sox, but it was not enough. 10-4 Yankees. In game 2, Trent Grisham hits his 3rd grand slam of the season. Are you kidding me? Volpe goes deep. It's 10-2 Yankees. 3rd game, Judge homers, Wells homers. This one went into extras, and in the 11th, the Yankees score 5-3 Yankees. They look for the 4-game sweep. Judge hits his 43rd homer of the season. Colson Montgomery, the rookie, homers to tie it. And then Lenyon Sosa, he goes deep in the 8th. That gives the White Sox the lead. They win this one 3-2 to salvage this series, avoid that last sweep to the Yankees. Padres and Twins. Now the Twins scored 4 in the 4th. Royce Lewis hits his 9th homer of the year, 7-4 Minnesota. Elias Diaz, a 2-homer game for the Padres. Laureano goes deep as the Padres score 7 in the 7th, leading them to a 12-3 victory. And for the rubber match, how about Byron Buxton, a new career high 29th home run of the season. He is 1 away from hitting 30 for the first time in his career. 7-2 Minnesota. They take 2 of 3 from the Padres. Tigers and Royals. The Tigers score 5 unanswered, including a home run from Dylan Dingler as they get a comeback win 5-3. Miguel Garcia goes deep. Bobby Witt Jr. tied up at 2. He hits a 2-run go-ahead bomb in the 8th. 3-1 Royals in that one, tied up at 1, They go to the rubber match, game 3. The Tigers scored 4 in the 5th as Skubal shoves the Royals 5-0 Detroit. They take 2 of 3 in Kansas City. Mariners and Guardians. Now the Mariners scored 4 runs in the 1st, but nothing from that point on. Manzardo homers, Jones homers. Rocchio ties it in at 4 in the 9th inning, leading up to Stephen Kwan, a walk-off sac fly as the Guardians come back in this one 5-4. What a win. Polanco homered in game 1. He homers in game 2. Julio would also go deep for the Mariners, but once again they collapse late. Manzardo, another home run for the Guardians as they win it 4-3. But Seattle would not collapse in game 3. Randy Arozarena, his 26th of the year. 4-2 Mariners. They avoid the sweep to the Guardians. Angels and Astros. Now the Astros would take a 2-0 victory in the opener before the Angels would take over the next 2 games. They score 3 in the 9th to break the tie and take the lead. 4-1 Angels in game 2. And in the 3rd game, Oswaldo Peraza would get a home run for a 3-0 Angels win. But don't fret, they have a 4th game today on Monday. The Astros have a chance to even up the 4-game set. Rangers and A's now. Jonah Heim, Michael Hellman, they homer in game 1 for a 5-2 Rangers win. Wyatt Langford and Dylan Moore homer in Game 2 for a 9-3 Rangers win. And Jock Peterson and Josh Young homer for the Rangers in Game 3 for a 9-6 Rangers win as they sweep the A's. Rays and Nationals now. Brandon Lau with the home run. Everson Pereira gets his first career MLB home run as the Rays take a 4-1 win in the opener. Josh Lowe now comes back, a 2-homer game. He scored all 4 of the Rays' runs, leading to another 4-1 victory. And in the final game, it's Lau again. Brandon Lau, a grand slam for his 28th homer of the year. He's having a fantastic year as the Rays win that one 7-4, and they sweep the Nationals. Braves and Phillies now in a 4-game set. We talked about this last time. Schwarber bombs 1, 2, 3, 4 home runs in the game for Schwarber. The third time it's happened this year. Max Kepler, Bryce Harper, they go deep too, but only once. 19-4 Phillies. They come back with a 2-1 win in Game 2. In the third game, tied up in extras, we went Trey Turner, the hero, with a walk-off single. The Phillies win it 3-2, looking for the 4-game sweep, but tied up at 1 in the 9th inning. Drake Baldwin hits the go-ahead homer for the Braves. They salvage the series with a win 3-1 to avoid the sweep to the Phillies. But the Phillies took 3 of 4. Can the Mets take 3 of 4? Because they are hosting the Marlins in a 4-game set. The Marlins scored 2 3-run innings that put them past the Mets 7-4 Miami, but the Mets come back banging. Brandon Nimmo, a 2-homer game. Soto goes deep. Alonso goes deep. Mark Vientos goes deep. Luis Torrens go deep. They all homer. The Mets scored 5 runs in an inning. They scored 6 runs in an inning. They scored 7 runs in an inning. 19-9 New York. In the third game, the Marlins scored 5 in the first, but fear not, Soto, a 2-homer game, gets the Mets to come back from down 6, but they still lose this one 11-8 Miami. And in that final game, Agustin Ramirez hits his 19th homer of the season. 5-1 Marlins as the Miami Marlins take 3 of 4 from the Mets, and the Phillies a huge favor after the Mets had just swept the Phillies. What a turnaround for those two teams. Cardinals and Reds now. Ivan Herrera, Noelvi Marte, Pedro Pajes, Spencer Steer, Ke'Bryan Hayes, they all homer for their respective teams. This one goes to extras where the Cardinals scored 2 in the 10th inning to get a 7-5 victory. They come back a 4-2 win in Game 2. Wilson Contreras, Pedro Pajes, they both homer. And in the last game, Jimmy Crooks hits his first career MLB home run for the Cardinals, but Austin Hayes, Matt McClain, they both homer. 7-4 Cincinnati. They avoid the sweep to the Cardinals and get a win. Cubs and Rockies now. Dansby Swanson, he gets a 2-homer game to open the series up at Coors. Ian Happ homers. Michael Busch homers in an 11-7 Cubs victory. They follow it up with a close one that they hold on to 4-3 Cubs, but in the last game, down by 3 in the 8th, Ian Happ, a 3-run game-tying home run for the Cubbies, but it didn't matter because Mickey Moniak hits the walk-off triple in the 9th inning. The Rockies get a 6-5 win to salvage the series. They get a game on the Cubs to avoid the sweep there. D-backs and Dodgers. The D-backs came out swinging in this series. Blaze Alexander hits a 7th homer of the season, part of a 3-0 D-backs win. In Game 2, it's Corbin Carroll, it's Eldemaro Vargas, both going deep in a 6-1 Diamondbacks win. Dodgers up 3 late. Corbin Carroll does it again, a 3-run game-tying home run in the 8th. The D-backs have a chance to sweep, but the Dodgers use Will Smith off the bench for a pinch hit walk-off home run. 5-4 Dodgers, they get the game and avoid the sweep to the D-backs. And that brings us to the Oilers and the Giants. The Giants scored 5. They scored in the first 5 innings in this game, at least 1 run. Dominic Smith homers, Luis Matos homers. 15-8 Giants. Some absolute big boy numbers in this series. Jeremiah Jackson, Ryan Mountcastle, and how about Samuel Basallo getting his first career MLB home run. Those 3 homers for an 11-1 Baltimore win. And in the rubber match, Devers homers, and the Giants keep adding on runs little by little throughout this one till it's at 13. and they win it 13-2. High scoring numbers, and the Giants take 2 of 3 for Baltimore. All right, now game of the weekend. I'm taking to New York for the Miami Marlins and the New York Mets. Game 3 on Saturday. This one starts in the top of the first. Heriberto Hernandez thought it was a home run. The umps review it. It's a double that scores a run. Miami takes the lead, but it doesn't end there. Eric Wagaman gets a 2-run double, and then Joey Weimer gets a 2-run double. So blink, and it's 5-0 Marlins. Bottom of the first, Francisco Lindor hits a leadoff home run to get them started. 26th on the season. They get a run back. Bottom second, Cedric Mullins, he steals second base, and a throwing error allows Beatty to score. It's 5-2 now. Top third, Miami will add on Jacob Marcy. An RBI single makes it 6-2, and then Joey Weimer, an RBI single, makes it 7-2 Miami. And for good measure, Derek Hill would ground into a double play, but a run would score 8-2. They have a 6-run lead through 3. Bottom third, Mark Vientos, he does the damage. A 3-run homer, his 15th on the year, puts Miami down 3, cuts the lead in half. Bottom 4, Soto hits his 34th homer of the series, and now it's a 2-run game. His next at-bat happens in the bottom of the 6th with Lindor on. He hits his second home run of the game, his 35th on the season. And from down 8-2, it is now 8-8 with 3 innings to play. But Miami's right on it. Top 7th, Connor Norby gets a sac fly to put them up 1. And then in the top of the 9th is Connor Norby again, but not a sac fly, a 2-run RBI double as they take an 11-8 lead and hold on to it. They don't allow the Mets to score after that tying Soto shot. They score 3, take an 11-8 victory in this one, end up taking 3 of 4 and helping the Phillies in a big way. That is your game of the weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We are in September. Are you kidding me? I mean, it's come a long way for this season. The September call-ups are coming around the corner here, of course, with it being, before all the games happen. Not all teams have made their picks or what's going on here. Some people are coming back from the 60-day IL, but everyone's making moves right now. I'm just scrolling through the transaction list on Fangraphs. I mean, there are so many names right now. Luis Severino activated from the 15-day IL. Scott McGlough for the A's. I'm trying to see if there's any notable names here. Jhonkensy Noel gets recalled for the Guardians. Justin Henry Malloy gets recalled for the Tigers. You got Taylor Trammell getting activated from the Astros. You got plenty of the Royals are calling up one of their top prospect catchers, Carter Jensen. He's coming up now for the September call-up. So a lot of moves happening across the league today as recalls happen, as the roster size expands from 26 to 28, and this is going to be really useful for some of those teams who are in playoff positions and trying to take a day off, maybe give a guy an extra rest here, but also useful for some of those teams who are maybe not making the playoffs and get to see what some of their top talent will be saying for 2026. So September call-ups, very exciting. The month of September, always very exciting, and a lot can happen. The game's back, the game's differences. There is plenty of time. There isn't, but at the same time, there is plenty of time. Speaking of time, it's been a while, but Luis Garcia from the Houston Astros, he is pitching today, making his first start from the Astros since May 1st, 2023. It has been it's been over 2 years since this guy has pitched on the major league mound, of course, coming back from Tommy John surgery. This guy was a huge important factor in the 2022 World Series Astros championships team. And if you're thinking, who's this Luis Garcia guy? If you don't remember him, if you don't know him, he has been very solid. I mean, in 2 full seasons with the Astros, An 11-8 record, a 3.48 ERA, a 15-8 record, a 3.72 ERA. Finished second in Rookie of the Year voting in 2021. Has a 4.6 career pitching WAR, 28 wins, 19 losses, and a 3.61 ERA in 69 games. He's playing his 70th game of his career today, pitching against the Halos, his 64th start in his career. With 352 innings, 364 strikeouts. This guy is a dog. Of course, his windup is what kind of made him memorable in the first place, but it's very exciting when a pitcher, again, coming back from Tommy John, you kind of haven't seen him in a year, 2 years even. To see him back on the mound today is going to be very, very exciting. I'm excited to watch this game fully. And Garcia hopefully is able to help the Astros because they are in a tricky position, a 2-game lead over the Mariners, trying to not be the third team of the division winners, trying to get past either the Blue Jays or the Tigers. So Houston still has a lot to play for, and getting this guy back should be a helpful piece. Moving on here, Aroldis Chapman needs to be talked about for multiple reasons. The first being that the Red Sox actually extended Aroldis Chapman for the 2026 season plus an option for the 2027 MLB season. And if you're thinking, well, why is there exciting a guy who's in his late 30s, 16 years in the big leagues, like he's past his prime for sure, right? You might be wrong about that because Aroldis Chapman has been having maybe his best year, definitely the best stretch for a relief pitcher we have ever seen. This guy has come into now 15 straight appearances that he hasn't even given up a hit. He has gotten 44 straight batters out without giving up a single hit. He has been that dominant. That's a no-hitter and more, right? Of course, it's in 15 stretches, but still, what he's done has been phenomenal. His season this year, 53 innings, a 1.02 ERA. He has been absolutely generational. The last time he gave up a hit, that was to JT Realmuto on July 23rd. It was a home run that Realmuto had hit. Since July 23rd, he has not given up a hit. And I know what you're thinking. And yes, that means he didn't give up a hit for all of August. That's how dominant Chapman has been. Part of the reason, he's spotting his fastball. He came out with a report, it was a quote, I forget what it was, but I saw something that said that Chapman in his entire career has never actually tried to aim his fastball in the zone. He just kind of threw it in there and it worked. And now he's actually trying to spot his fastball. Like, no wonder you're absolutely tearing through hitters right now. I mean, Chapman right now is a dog. He gets some money from the Red Sox, and they lock up a closer for the next potentially 2 years. If he can continue next season like he is this season, I mean, right now, Boston's in the chase. They're in the AL wild card, trying to chase down the Yankees, trying to chase down the Blue Jays, trying to stay away from the Mariners and any other team, trying to catch up in the wild card standings. But Chapman's been a huge key piece as to why Boston has been so good. And if he keeps it up, the sky could be the limit for the Red Sox, to say the least here. Moving on now, let's talk about a couple of last-minute signings and claims that happened this week. Of course, teams need to make these signings and claims before September now if they wanted these players potentially eligible for the playoff rosters here. So starting off, we mentioned last episode that Carlos Santana was waived by the Guardians. It is the Chicago Cubs that end up signing the first baseman for depth. They also put a claim in for the White Sox, Aaron Savali. So I find that one really fun when you think about it. Of course, he was on the Brewers at the start of the year. They told him that his struggles meant that he was going to move to the bullpen. He did not like that, openly bashed the team, kind of saying, I'm a starter, I'm going to be used as a starter, I'm not going to the bullpen, yada, yada, yada. So he goes from the best team of baseball to the worst team in baseball. They trade him for Andrew Vaughn and trade him to the White Sox. Andrew Vaughn comes up, he's a stud there for 3 weeks, becomes a living legend in Milwaukee, struggling more as of late. Meanwhile, Savali does his thing for the White Sox, has a couple good starts, has a couple bad starts. Regardless, the White Sox, they put him on waivers. Cubs sign him back up. And now he is back in the division with the Brewers. And the Cubs, of course, and the Brewers are fighting each other for the NL Central throne. I would love to see Aaron Savali pitch a game against the Brewers. I forget if they have any more games this season. I think they do. I would love to see Savali lined up for one of those and absolutely just shove against his former team and go like 8 innings, 2 hits, and just dominate them. So that was very fun. The Blue Jays put a claim in for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who was waived by the Pirates. So he is back with Toronto. Of course, was with them a few years ago. So IKF back to Toronto. And then Walker Buehler, he was released by the Red Sox. Of course, he signed a 1-year, I think about $19 million deal. And they say, no, thank you. We're trying to win. And you have been kind of hindering that. He's obviously struggled a lot this year. But surprise, surprise, it is the Philadelphia Phillies that go out and get him. So Walker Buehler goes from a wild card team to a division leading team back in the NL, back where he was kind of more dominant when he was with the Dodgers. So we'll see if that change of scenery will help Buehler regain some form here down the stretch. And if it does, I mean, the Phillies are getting another potential ace in the hole here for an already astounding staff for the rotation here. So I mean, their rotation on paper goes 1-to-1 with both the Dodgers and the Brewers. And if Walker Buehler can be Walker Buehler, that's even better for them. So some good stuff all the way around. Last thing to mention here is that Victor Robles, we mentioned how he got a 10-game suspension when he threw his bat in AAA. He appealed that. It has gone from 10 games to now 7 games. So Victor Robles now with the Mariners, back healthy again. He will take the week off while he serves his suspension before getting back out there for Seattle, trying to help them chase down the Astros. So let's get into now the hot and colds from the week. Rafael Devers from the Giants was hot. 11 for 23, 2 doubles, 3 homers, 10 RBIs, 9 runs, 4 walks, and a 1.513 OPS. Brandon Nimmo for the Mets, 11 for 24, 4 doubles, 2 homers, 8 RBIs, 6 runs, a 1.356 OPS. Ian Happ from the Cubs, 8 for 20, 4 doubles, 2 homers, 7 RBIs, 4 runs, a 1.355 OPS. Byron Buxton getting now 29 home runs. Who would have thought if Buxton gets one more, 30 home runs? Who would have thought Buxton could ever reach 30 homers in a season if he could stay healthy enough? He was 6 for 17 with a double, 4 home runs, 8 RBIs, 6 runs, a 1.507 OPS. And then lastly, Ozzie Albies for the Braves, 9 for 24, 2 doubles, 3 homers, 10 RBIs, 4 runs, a 1.256 OPS. On the cold side, we had some cold players this week. Colton Cowser from Baltimore, 2 for 25 with 14 strikeouts. JT Realmuto, 1 for 20 with 10 strikeouts. Jordan Beck, 2 for 19, 11 strikeouts. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 1 for 19 with 4 strikeouts. And then Tyler Locklear from Arizona, 0 for 16 with 8 Ks. So not fun for those guys. Hopefully can turn it around this week. As we move on now, we have our injury updates, the guys that got hurt this week, starting with Xander Bogaerts from the Padres on the 10-day IL with a fractured foot. Cardinals are losing Alec Burleson on the 10-day IL with wrist inflammation. Miguel Vargas on the 10-day IL from the White Sox with a sprained left hand. Angels are losing Tyler Anderson on the 15-day IL with a strained oblique. And then Miami's losing Dane Myers on the 10-day IL with a strained oblique as well. Those are your injury updates there. And we now look to the outstanding performances from the weekend here. Freddie Peralta shoved against the Blue Jays, getting his league-leading 16th win, 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, and 8 Ks, utter dominance. Christian Javier, 6 innings, no hits, no runs, 3 walks, and 6 Ks. He was fantastic. Zach Allen, one of his best starts of the season, 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 3 walks, and 8 Ks coming against the Dodgers. Kevin Gausman, 7 innings, 4 hits, an earned run, no walks, and 8 Ks. Gavin Williams, 7 innings, 4 hits, an earned run, a walk, and 8 Ks. Very similar lines. Joe Ryan, 7 innings, 5 hits, no runs, a walk, and 8 Ks. Sandy Alcantara, 7 innings, 4 hits, an earned run, a walk, and 6 Ks. Tarek Skubal, 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 4 Ks. Jose Soriano from the Angels, 7 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 3 walks, and 8 Ks. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, 7 innings, 4 hits, an earned run, no walks, and 10 Ks. And then Jesus Luzardo, 6 2/3, allowing 2 hits, no runs, a walk, while striking out 7. Those were your outstanding performances. As we now look at the standings check as we enter September, what is the divisions saying? We'll start with the AL East. The Blue Jays playing a little bit of 500 ball recently. They're 79-58, 1 win away from 80. The Yankees and Red Sox were hot, though. The Yankees were on a 7-game winning streak, their best winning streak of the season so far. They have surpassed the Red Sox once again. They're 76-61, half a game up on Boston at 76-62, and now 3 games back of the Blue Jays. Boston 3.5 back. So that is a 3-team race right now that has the Jays on top. In the AL Central, the Tigers just took 2 of 3 from the Royals, which means the difference there is 9.5 games. The Tigers are at 80-58, while the Royals are at 70-67. So while it is still looking good for the Tigers to lock up the Central, the Royals are trying to find a way to fight for the wild card. The AL West has the Astros at 75-62, 2 games on the Mariners at 73-64. Meanwhile, don't look yet, but Texas has gotten hot. They're 8-2 in their last 10 on a 5-game winning streak and are 71-67, 4.5 back of the Astros, 2.5 back of the Mariners. So while it was looking like it was just going to be Astros and Mariners, Texas has slowly reintroduced themselves back into the conversation. In the NL East, the Mets had swept the Phillies. They had brought in the games back, I believe, down to 3 or 4 after they lost 3 or 4 to the Marlins, while the Phillies win 3 or 4 to the Braves. The Phillies are at 79-58, so the Mets 73-64. The difference there is 6 games that the Phillies have entering the month of September. In the NL Central, the Brewers and Cubs both playing a little bit of 500 baseball recently. The Brewers still the best team in baseball by a decent bit, 85-53. Cubs are 78-59. So the Cubs having a fantastic season, but the Brewers are just slightly outclassing them in every step of the way. 6.5 game lead there for Milwaukee. And then in the NL West, the Dodgers, they have taken things over once again. They're at 78-59 with a 2-game lead over the Padres, who are 76-61, looking to get those games back and get them back quickly, to say the least. That is what the divisions are currently saying. So the division leaders right now, Tigers, Blue Jays, Astros, and then Brewers, Phillies, Dodgers in the division races. For the AL wildcard, Yankees are 3 games up on the line. Red Sox are 2.5 up on the line. And the Mariners currently at the line. Those are your 3 AL wildcard teams currently. Texas is now the team that is hunting Seattle, 2.5 back of them. Royals 3 games back. Guardians 4 games back. So there's still, there's still a month. There's still time to get hot. It just needs to happen today. That's what the AL wildcard chase is saying. On the NL side, the NL wildcard has the Cubs 5 games up on the line. Padres 3 games up on the line. So as we sit now, I mean, the Cubs and Padres or Cubs and Dodgers, that's a very likely playoff wildcard matchup for come October. The Mets are the last team currently on the line. They've been playing a little bit of 500 ball, but the Reds have been playing well below 500 ball. At one point, they were 1 game back. They're 2-8 in their last 10. They are now 4 games back, and anyone else is even more. So the Giants 5, Diamondbacks 5.5. So as it stands right now, you got to feel pretty confident about the 6 teams that are currently going for the NL and will be making the playoffs. But if any one of those teams wants to make the push, the Giants 7-3 in their last 10. They've been playing a little bit better recently. Again, September, first day, still time, but it needs to happen today. So that is what the standing check is currently staying here. Let's get into the upcoming series for the week here because there are some good matchups. Of course, the Angels and Astros will play one last game from this past weekend. Angels currently leading 2-1, so we'll talk about that game quick. But for the new series, we have the Mariners in Tampa Bay, or at least in Steinbrenner, etc., blah, blah, blah. Mariners at Rays, Guardians at Red Sox, Mets at Tigers. That's a really fun series. Tigers can put the Mets in their place, potentially. White Sox at Twins, Angels at Royals, Yankees at Astros. That's always a big, exciting, fun series. Marlins at Nationals, Braves at Cubs, Phillies at Brewers, A's at Cardinals, Blue Jays at Reds, Dodgers at Pirates, Giants at Rockies, Rangers at D-backs, and then the Oilers at the Padres. There are some good series in that mix here, but there is definitely one for me that stands out above the rest. This is your series highlight, and it is the Philadelphia Phillies in Milwaukee to take on the Brewers, the first team in the NL East versus the first team in the NL Central, the 1 and 2 seeds in the NL overall. Right now, if the season ended today, these are the 2 teams that would get a bye into the NLDS. The Phillies are 5.5 games back of the Brewers. This is a 3-game series, so if the Phillies sweep, that 5.5 game difference turns to 2.5 game difference. Meanwhile, if the Brewers sweep, that 5.5 turns to 8.5, and the Brewers really cement themselves as the best team, not only in the NL, but in baseball as a whole. And of course, for other teams, the Mets and the Cubs, who are needing to get these guys to lose, they both have about 6.5 game leads over their divisional foes here. So for game 1 of this series, the Phillies are sending out Taijuan Walker, a 4-7 record with a 3.63 ERA. He is going up against the young phenom Jacob Misiorowski for the Brewers, 4-2 with a 4.33 ERA. In the second game of the series, it's Aaron Nola, who's had a really tough season but had a good start last time out, 3-7 on the year with a 6.47 ERA. He is going up against the cool, calm-headed Jose Quintana, who's had a fantastic year, 10-5 with a 3.69 ERA. But the real popcorn is definitely for game 3, as the Phillies will be sending out Ranger Suarez, another fantastic year for him, 10-6 with a 3.02 ERA. He is going up against the league leader in wins, Freddie Peralta, 16-5, a 2.58 ERA. He has become the ace of that Brewers staff. You know, it was once Brandon Woodruff, then it was Corbin Burns, back to Woodruff. Freddie Peralta has always been the 3 in that rotation. He has now become that ace that the Brewers have finally needed to have. And he will be pitching in game 3. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode is not over just yet because we are in September, so you know what that means. It's time to bring back the magic number segment. And yes, we are still a little bit a ways away from getting any first clinches. You know, we still have 24 to 27 games left on the year, but it is September, so I thought might as well bring it back and do this segment. For the AL clinches, the Tigers are currently the closest to clinching. They have a 16-game magic number. The Blue Jays are at 17. The Astros are at 21. The Yankees are at 20. The Red Sox are at 20. And the Mariners are at 23. And when there's 24 to 27 games remaining, of course, some of those means zip. For the NL clinchers, the Brewers have the lowest clinch overall. Of course, the best team in baseball. Makes sense. Their clinch magic number right now is 10. So they can't do it this episode, but they can't do it for next episode on Friday. But by this point next week, if Brewers have a great series, if, the Reds continue to struggle, Brewers, magic number, they could be clinching next week. So keep that in mind. The Phillies' magic number is 16, Dodgers 17, Cubs 17, Padres are 19, and the Mets are 22. Remember, these are just for clinching a postseason spot, not talking about divisions or anything else like that. And then when you look at the losing magic numbers, the White Sox losing magic number is down to 1. So a White Sox loss or a Seattle Mariner win will finish their chances for any postseason hope this year. After that, the Nationals are at 7, Pirates at 13, Oilers at 13, A's at 14, Twins at 15, Braves at 15. Those are the next couple of teams who would be on the chopping block. That is Magic Numbers, the first one of the year. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the episode. I can't stress enough. We are in September, 24 to 27 games remaining, about 8 to 9 series. We are in the best time for baseball to enjoy. And of course, football starts this week too. September and October, 2 of my favorite months for sports, and I love it so much. I know you're excited too. If you're here listening to me, I appreciate you. Thank you, buddy, so much, and I will see you on Friday.